Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Floodlights Camera Action from Amy Forsyth to Craig Forsyth, where it's a bridge gap between film and football and tell you exactly what films you should be watching and what ones to avoid. I'm Jack, but a podcast is only as good as its co-host every week. I'm joined by my good friend Veronica to work through the do's and don'ts of film watching. Veronica, how are you?
I'm good, and I'm looking forward to our interview with Amy because it's a good one. I think maybe our best one yet. Do you agree? Would you agree?
It's a contender. It's a contender. People will have to listen and decide for themselves, but it's up there. As we have teased, we are joined not by Derby County defender Craig Forsyth, what a player he is, by the way. We're joined by Amy Forsyth, who stars in Inedia, which is Liz Cairns' directorial debut. Stars obviously Amy Forsyth, Suzanne West, and Rachel Durrance. After a series of mysterious and debilitating allergic reactions to food, a young woman joins a radical community of people who claim to be nourished by light. Amy Forsyth, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm great. How are you?
I'm brilliant, thank you. I want to go back into we'll do a bit like a retrospective of your filmography so far. Quite a few of your previous projects have included horror or horror adjacent films, such as this one, Inedia. What draws you back to working on this genre? Why is it horror and that kind of vibe?
I don't know. It's funny because when I started doing indie films and small Canadian horror films, I could not watch horror. It was not something I watched growing up. It was not for me. And then through doing it, I've since then become a huge horror fan, and I really love the genre. And I think I don't know. I think the horror fans also rock. So I don't know. I just like it.
You mentioned starting out in these smaller kind of indie or Canadian horror films.
Yeah.
If you can cast your mind back to the first feature film that you were involved in, I think it was
Yeah.
Torment, 2013. And do
Yes,
you
it was.
remember much about playing the character of Little Monkey? Was
Oh,
that
yes, I
hard
did.
breathing in that stuffed animal mask?
It wasn't super hard, actually. And I was grateful because we were in an old barn and the ceilings were really low and there were bats. We got in there and there were bats in the barn. And so I was pretty, I mean, I like bats. I'm not like afraid of them. I think they're really cool, but it was nice to have an extra layer of protection on my head.
As you've said there, you've been involved in quite a few Canadian productions as well as American productions such as CODA. What are the differences between Canadian and US, if any, or are they, it's just all filmmaking at the end of the day?
I think it's all filmmaking at the end of the day. I mean, telefilm is helpful, or the Canadian funding is helpful, and um, there's a little bit more of that in Canada, which is great. But yeah, I think it's all filmmaking at the end of the day. I think the biggest difference is not necessarily American to Canadian, but more indie to um, studio feature or a network TV show. I think that's the bigger difference.
I saw that another one of your new films won an ensemble award at Sundance this year, Plainclothes, and
Yeah.
we were both also impressed by the work of the whole ensemble in your new film, Inedia. What do you think is, if there is one, that kind of special ingredient that makes a film ensemble click so well on screen, in your experience?
I mean, I think it's helpful to have somebody at the helm that is caring and a team player. And I think I look at filmmaking as a team sport, and Tom Blythe and Russell Tovey, who lead Plainclothes, are also that way. And I think having, a writer and director who also feels like it's a collaboration is a huge piece of that. And that's something that was true for both of these films.
CODA was obviously such a historic film. It made me cry three times. So I
Three.
feel like, yeah, three. I think it was the end scene. There was one in the middle. I think it was two
Yeah,
in the second act, actually.
yeah.
It was obviously the first Best Picture winner to feature a majority deaf cast. What was the feeling like on set at the time? Or did it feel like something that was incredibly special, or did it kind of sink in at a later date and you go, oh shit, we've actually done something really special?
I think both. It felt really special filming it, and it was such a labor of love and sort of the little film that could. And then I think when it swept Sundance, that's when everybody sort of went, "Oh, wait, maybe other people recognize this as being as special as we have felt that it was." But yeah, that was such a delightful surprise for all of us. That's everyone's dream when you're making an indie film, is that people are going to watch it, that people care enough to see this thing that you've made, and for it to sort of take the world by storm in the way that it did was such a delightful surprise.
Jack just mentioned the kind of experience of CODA becoming this a historic film, I guess, but I wanted to ask a bit about what happened afterwards for you personally. So when you're in that kind of hectic period of going to events, going to these ceremonies, winning plenty of awards, afterwards when it's all over, what does that feel like? Is there a kind of come down period or do you go straight back to work?
Yeah, I mean, I think both. There's definitely a come down period. I also think so much of this industry that we consume as viewers is like the A-list celebrity doing this big press tour and going to all these fashion shows and doing all these fancy events. And while that is so fun and so, I'm so grateful to have been able to do some of those things, it's also it's not like normal for the brain. It's to be doing all of that, and it can take a toll. And I feel really sort of lucky that my experience with CODA, being a part of the bigger cast of CODA, I kind of came in at the end of doing all of that press. And so I got my fair share of doing the carpets and going and meeting all the people. And that was so amazing. But I think I didn't have the same sort of exhaustion that the others may have had. But even with just those few weeks of doing all of that, I was grateful to be surrounded by people that kept me really grounded. And I got to come home and just be with my dog and stay in my apartment in Brooklyn and cross stitch and not leave the house. So that was my come down. But yeah, and then you get back to work. And also then you're back to being an actor. So funny that way, because then you come home and you're like, oh well, I now don't have a job. So it's back to the grind.
I want to go back right to the beginning. What was the film that really made you want to become an actor, and who were those real key role models for you at such an early stage?
Um, I watched Dreamer, the Dakota Fanning horse movie, in theaters when I was, I don't know, I would have to look at when it came out, but maybe 8 years old, 9 years old. And that was the first time that I saw a young girl, that I recognized a young girl close to my age in a movie. And then I realized, oh wait, I know that I want to do this, but I thought I had to be an adult. I thought I was going to have to wait forever. And it suddenly made it feel so much closer. And then I still waited. My mom didn't let me get an agent until I was 17, which is a good thing. But yeah, that was the first thing that sort of caught my eye and made me realize that it was maybe closer than I thought.
We wanted to ask you, so you've had a quite a long career so far when you started in musical theatre to then going into film and TV. What is your most prized film related possession? So something that maybe you have from your projects that you've then brought home, or something that you own personally as a fan of a certain film.
Yeah, that's a good question. Things that I've brought home. I kept my docs from CODA, which is funny because I didn't know at the time that it was then going to go on to be what it became. But that's pretty cool. I feel like I haven't worn them since we wrapped that film because they're like a burgundy doc that I just haven't worn them, but I have them in my house. And that's a really cherished possession. I think it's really cool to have the Sundance. I don't really have trophies in my, I mean, you win the Oscars, the producers win the Oscar, or, Sean or somebody wins the Oscar, they get to keep the Oscar. And so our like ensemble award from Sundance for Plainclothes this year really was so special to receive, and that was so cool. And I have a ring that was my own that I brought for Inedia, and the necklace, the sun necklace that I wear, that we all wear in Inedia, I have, and that is really really special to me too.
You've obviously been in quite a few varied projects, not just genre, but medium. What is the differences, apart from maybe the obvious in terms of, musical theatre on stage and on film you're in front of a camera?
Yeah.
What do you have to change about your performance to suit different mediums?
Yeah, I think um, a big learning curve when I first started doing TV and film was obviously bringing things in a little. But then I realized that it shouldn't all just be small and broad. It depends on what lens you're on. It depends on how far away the camera is. It depends on all of these other factors. So, um, I love every part of filmmaking, and I would love to direct one day, and I'm always paying attention to the shot. I'm always asking what the frame is. Um, those are big differences. Yeah, there's yeah.
You spoke about the difference between the mediums. I had a question actually about your TV acting. Is it more difficult in terms of an actor to be on a single episode, a one-off of a TV show, or to be a recurring character maybe on 9, 10 episodes of a season?
I do think in some ways it's harder to do a one-off. I mean, you're sort of coming in and plugging yourself into this big moving thing that already exists, and I think to sort of toe the line of showing up and doing your job effectively and efficiently, but not sort of causing any waves or ripples. Like that is it can be tricky, but it's also fun and humbling and cool to see how different sets work depending on who's at the helm.
Now, in order for us not to be sued by Letterboxd, we have to be very careful with the way we phrase this next question. What are your three favorite films of all time? Because I feel like five is pushing a bit too much. Four is we get sued. Three is probably the sweet spot.
Three is allowed. Oh gosh, I haven't thought about this. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I love, oh, you know what movie I love? Obvious Child. Jenny Slate. I love that movie so much. Um, I love Mamma Mia. I
I'm
really
so
do.
glad you've said that. I'm
Sorry.
so glad you've said that.
Sorry, but I do. It was the
Great film.
first show that I ever saw. I saw it when it was touring here in Toronto when I was a kid. And that's what made me absolutely fall in love with theater. So those movies mean a lot to me.
What did you think of the second Mamma Mia film? I've got to ask because the second one, it feels like people either love it or hate it. It's a bit Marmite. Where do you land on it?
A bit more, Mike. That's great. I'm in. I'm all the way in. I love it so much. I think that starting off with Kiss the Teacher, I'm in. I'm absolutely in. I love it. I think it's perfect. Cher is there. Okay. Hell yeah.
Any film was made better by Cher. Anything.
Yeah, I'm just in. I'm in across the board. Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, I love those films. I need a third film. I don't know. Oh, if we want to talk horror, one of the first horror thriller movies that I saw that really made me go, oh, maybe I can actually watch movies in this genre was Green Room. I love that movie so much. I think it's so well done. That's such a weird three movies to say, but
No, it's good. We want people to have more unique answers than just Godfather, Godfather Part 2, and
right.
whatever else. Um, you couldn't remember maybe all of your favorite films, but I'm sure you'll be able to remember what the last film you watched was and what you thought of it. Do you remember the last film you watched? Surely it couldn't have been that long ago.
The last thing I saw in theaters was 28 Years Later, and that
Me too.
rocked. I
I think
wept.
me too. Me too as well, actually.
I sobbed for 5 minutes straight, like could not be consoled.
At what
Uh,
point, without spoiling it, at what point did you cry? Was it towards the end, should we say?
yeah,
Yeah.
just Jodie Comer is perfect. She's perfect. Um, no, I love that. I was shocked at how much I love that film. I've been telling everybody that they have to see it, even if they. I mean, I actually hadn't seen the first one, so
I hadn't seen the first two,
yeah,
so I'm a lot worse than you. I sometimes watch the last film of a trilogy and
yeah,
then get told off for doing that and not
And then
watching the
complain when
first
you
two.
don't like it, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
yeah, yeah.
much. Or I'm
Um,
like, I don't understand this bit. I don't know who this is. Oh well,
yeah.
probably should have
Like,
watched the
well,
first two, but it's not my
um,
problem.
not my problem. No, I loved it so much. I think it's so beautiful. And even if you don't know the other films, and even if you don't love that genre, I think it's worth watching. So good.
So Veronica mentioned earlier, very briefly, she mentioned The Godfather, and I've watched over 1,200 films roughly, and I've not seen The Godfather, which I feel like I probably should have done, right?
I haven't either.
Well,
That's
you
awesome.
can't use that answer. We do a bit every guest episode we get on, and we get the guests to tell us their cinematic blind spot, so a massive film they haven't seen. And I'm not going to allow you to choose The Godfather because that is cheating. I've
Because
given you
that's
that one.
yours.
What's
Um,
your biggest cinematic blind spot?
I mean, I feel like it's such a blind spot that I can't remember. Like I don't know. um, what are some of the other blind spot? I mean, Godfather, um,
Godfather Part 2, probably.
Godfather Part 2. There's another like really big one that I can't
Godfather Part 3.
remember.
No, she watched the third one without seeing the first
Yeah,
one. That's what happened.
God, I don't know. It's actually, I don't know. I'm sorry that I can't answer this. I actually
Veronica's the worst for it. She's not seen Star Wars, Harry Potter,
Lord of the
The
Rings,
Godfather, or
Harry
Lord of the
Potter.
Rings.
Yeah, you've already said that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is crazy. It is
What did
crazy.
you do as like a child? What did you watch?
I watched like National Geographic documentaries on pandas and shit. That's what I was watching when I was a kid.
And honestly, you're probably better off for it.
Exactly. Why would I be watching The Godfather at 5? I don't know.
Yeah.
Jack had a strange childhood, apparently.
I'm gonna think of some movie later on today and be annoyed that I can't think of it now.
Just scream it like the end of Shawshank Redemption. Just start screaming.
I've
I
seen
remember the film.
Great
See,
film.
that's not a blind spot. It's not a blind spot.
I wanted to actually ask a question about your appearance on The Voice, because I think you were on The Voice US.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
You've like really done your research. It's really amazing.
There's a
I
whole
have.
document. It's
I
really
have.
impressive.
That was so fun and also a little bit scary. And if I remember correctly, we recorded it. There was an audience, but the judges like weren't there for when we recorded that part.
No,
Like
they were turned around. They usually couldn't see them.
they didn't turn around for us.
They just didn't press the button. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they weren't there. It was like really fun, but strange. I think we did it twice. We recorded it twice. I mean, it was really fun and a little crazy. A lot of pressure. I would be so nervous to be a contestant. Oh my God, I don't know how they do it.
I can never do that. I mean, I can't sing, so that's like part of the problem, but
That is one of the
other than that,
main.
I couldn't do that.
You'd argue that's the biggest problem. Actually, is not being able to sing. That's maybe second at a push. Now back to Anadia. Obviously, we've done an intro where we talk glowingly about the film and we describe it in such grandiose detail. How would you describe the film? How would you pitch it to someone? No pressure, of course.
No, I know. We were just talking about this earlier today. This is why I'm an actor and not the writer, because I'm like, I can't pitch that. I can't give you the synopsis. I'm not good at this. But I'll try. It follows a young woman named Cora who struggles with some debilitating food allergies, and she is looking for answers. And she finds a group of people off the coast of Vancouver who claim to live on light. And she goes and joins them, and chaos ensues. Crushed it.
You did. Yeah, but we're not choose that. I don't need to do it now. I have to. Can I ask you one more question? One more question. A look towards the future. We've done a retrospective on look towards the future. Who are your dream collaborators? Whether that's writers, directors, co-stars. Who in your future, if you can, zoom ahead 40 years, you go right. In my career, I've worked with these people. I lived the dream. Who are those people?
Oh man. I feel like there are so many. And who I love so much is Mark Ruffalo.
He's so versatile.
He's so perfect. I love him in everything that he does. I would love to work with Mark Ruffalo. We were just talking about Saoirse Ronan. I would love to work with Saoirse Ronan. I would love to work with Mark Rylance. I would love to work with.
Is there a director, maybe?
Yeah, that's where I was going next. There are so many that I don't. The problem when this is why I'm bad at these interviews, because when people ask me questions, then my mind goes completely blank, and I can't think
That's
of.
why we're on this side and we're not. If I had to answer these questions, I'd freeze up as well. Start a podcast and you don't have to answer anything.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I don't know.
Scorcese to do Godfather Part 4.
Yeah, put me in, coach.
You didn't even do the first three. Amy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute delight, and maybe one day you'll get around to watching Greta Gerwig. Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Thanks. See it. Massive thank you again to Amy Forsyth coming on the show. Make sure you keep an eye out for Inedia for when it releases near you.
Now, before we leave everyone to, I don't know, make dinner. I don't know what time people listen to podcasts. In the morning, on their commute,
or what time
whatever,
zone?
get to
What
work,
time zone?
or what time zone.
Obviously,
Who
Amy was in
knows?
New York time,
Really? I didn't know that.
potentially.
Oh, it's Canada. Well, anyway, I wanted to quickly play a game because this game will probably be irrelevant by the time we do another normal episode. And this game involves the New York Times top 100 films of the 21st century thing that they released, where they had a lot of actors, directors, random people who are not either of those things give their ballots in for the top 10.
Friend of the show, Seth's film reviews was asked to do his ballot.
He was, and we were not, which is a shame, but I don't think it would have impacted anything. So I have a game that includes these ballots, and you don't know. I don't think you would have remembered who picked what or whatever, right?
I only looked at
So for
Seth's.
the purposes of this game, just say you haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen it. I genuinely haven't seen any of them.
Okay. So they released the individual ballots for each actor, director, comedian, whatever. And I made a quiz, so I'm going to give you the film and 3 options. And you're going to have
You
to
got a name
tell
for the
me.
quiz? You got a name for the quiz or no name?
No, I don't have a name
That's a
for
shame.
the quiz.
That's a shame.
You didn't have a name for the quiz last episode either.
Ed Sheeran boxed.
Alright. So anyway, I'm going to say the name of the film, I'll give you 3 options, and you're going to tell me which one of these people had this film in their top 10 of the 21st century. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. I was zoned out
Okay.
momentarily, but I'm sure I get it, yeah.
Okay.
Get the gist.
So, some of these have more than one film, because obviously, if I just say one film, there might be multiple people who had the film. Does that make sense?
Right, okay.
So I'll just be like, I'll give you an example, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The Incredibles. Which one of these 3 people had The Incredibles in their top 10 films of the 21st century? Was it A, Brian Cox? Was it B, Sofia Coppola? Or was it C, Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks.
No, you're wrong. It was B, Sofia Coppola. You've gone 0 for 1
Her
already.
films are too sad for that. They're about longing and sadness.
I'm not gonna lie. I think that's a really good pick because I remember
It's a great pick. I didn't love the film, but yeah.
I had the PlayStation 2 video game of The Incredibles when I was younger.
Oh, so
And I love that game.
again. Talk about video game film tie-ins.
That is true. Oh yeah, we were gonna do that. We were gonna do a long version of that, and we never did.
Yeah. Go back and
I used
listen
to play
Tom
loads
Little
of those.
episode. It's great. It's a great episode. Okay, I get the game. The game's a good game.
You get the game. All right, whatever. There's a bonus question that I'm gonna bring up at the very end if there's a tie between you and no one else. If you get 0. All right. The next
last
one.
chance to learn.
The next one is I'm gonna give you a few films, and then you have to guess who said these. All right.
Okay.
So, this person has great taste, is all I'm saying. All right. Blue
Seth's film
Valentine,
reviews. Oh, okay. Oh, that's a great film.
Requiem for a Dream, and The Lobster. Those 3 are amazing picks, by the way.
Blue
Who was
Valentine's
this?
Such a good film.
Was it A, Pamela Anderson, B, Brett Goldstein, the guy from Ted Lasso,
Yeah.
C, Robert Eggers?
Well, originally I was thinking, before you said any names, I thought it was going to be Paul Mescal because he spoke about Blue Valentine being his favourite film. So it's Pamela Anderson, Brett Goldstein, Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Give me Brett Goldstein.
You're wrong. The person who has absolutely impeccable film taste is Pamela
Robert Eggers?
Anderson.
Pamela Anderson?
Pamela Anderson, where with
Fair
The Lobster,
play,
Requiem
Pamela.
for a Dream. I
Come on the
know.
podcast.
Get her on the
Pamela.
podcast. Like, this is great. All right, next one. Next one, I've picked out a lot of films because I was really impressed by her picks. Oh shit! I've just told you the answer.
Just make up some names. Just make up some female names.
Okay, yeah, I'll make up women. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Name
So
a
the
woman.
films are. I can name 100. I've already done that. The names are. The films. Sorry. The names of the films are. This is what happens when you let me host a game. All right. Before Sunset. Portrait of Lady on Fire. The Florida Project. Mad Max Fury Road. And this one might throw you. The Girl with the Needle.
Fucking
All right.
Not a good film. It's a good
So
film, but-
option A. Julianne Moore.
Brett Goldstein. Oh.
Option B, Mikey Madison. Option C, Celine Song.
Can you read
This
me
is,
out the
by the way,
films again?
such a good top 10, but I couldn't name the whole 10.
Who's the first one? First woman?
The first person,
Yeah.
Julianne Moore.
She said Julianne Moore. It's not Mikey Madison. I've decided. It's purely. I'll tell you my logic. Purely because it's similar to Past Lives. I'm going to go with Pamela Anderson. No, not Pamela Anderson.
Did you mean
Celine
Celine
Song.
Song?
Yeah. Celine Song is my final answer. Got Pamela Anderson on the brain.
Okay, well, guess what? You're wrong
I'm
again.
wrong. I'm wrong
And
again.
it's
Is
the
it
one
Mikey
you said it
Madison?
wasn't. It's Mikey Madison. Mikey Madison, listen, if you're free, come on the podcast because these are some really good picks.
It is.
I thought
It's
you'd maybe think Mikey Madison because of the Florida Project. That's a really good film, but
Wow, cool. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
she was a sycophant. Yeah.
actually, do you want to know a fun fact? She had 2 Sean Baker films in there, and the other
I
one was
wasn't
Tangerine.
was it? I would say
I
Tangerine.
knew, I didn't put it in there because that'd be too obvious. 2 Sean Baker films, but
Tangerine, much like Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which actually we won't cover it on an episode. I watched Scott Pilgrim recently. It's one of the worst films ever made. Awful film is Tangerine. Next one. Let's try and just get
Alright.
one. Let's get one on the board.
You haven't got
Jesus
a single point
Christ.
here. Okay, the next one.
Do I have a
2
lifeline?
films.
Can I ask you to can I cash in a lifeline at some point and go like, oh, remove one answer?
Okay, yeah. If you're still on 0 and we're on
Still
like the
get it
last
wrong.
2 questions, yeah.
Maybe
Are you
I
ready?
won't. Maybe I won't. I won't cash in. Yeah.
2 films, right? Another Round and Oslo August 31st. 2
Okay,
incredible films and 2 films by Scandinavian directors, I
hope
think.
Mads Mikkelsen
Probably.
has done that.
Okay, so option A is Charles Melton, option B is Julianne Moore, and option C is Natalie Portman.
Oh,
So all 3 May December.
May December triple header there.
It's the May December themed question. It was Another Round and Oslo August 31st.
Yeah.
2 very good choices, one of which was in my list, actually.
I think it's either Julianne Moore or Natalie Portman. I'm looking away, so I can't see you smirking because it's definitely Charles Melton. Let's go. You put her as another answer as well. Let's go Julianne Moore.
Jack, it was Charles Melton. How are you getting every one of these so wrong?
Fuck me. Jesus Christ. Can we keep going until I get one right?
Yeah, we will. I still have a few left. Okay.
This
Are
is
you ready?
really hard, by the way. Yeah.
I know, but are you not parasocial enough to know these people's film taste?
Your oven's going. Everything's going wrong in my life at the moment.
It's actually the laundry. Sorry, special
Laundry.
guest.
Featuring the laundry.
All right. So 3 films in this top 10: Black Swan, Dogtooth. Which, can I just say, a lot of actors have Dogtooth in their top 10, and I was really surprised, positively, obviously.
Really bad, isn't it?
It's because it's such a great film. But anyway, so Black Swan, which is a great film, Dogtooth, which is an incredible film, and then Good Time, which is the Safdie brothers film.
No, that is it. I need to rewatch that scene. That's a great film.
So all 3 great picks. So was this A, Josh Safdie, B, Julianne Moore, or C, Tremel Tillman? You can't spend too long on this just because you've got every one of them wrong. And Dogtooth, yeah.
I part of me wants to go Julianne Moore again.
Are you
looking in Julianne Moore for a third time.
You are correct. It is
Yes!
Julianne Moore. It is
and that's why she's my favourite actress.
That is why we love Julianne Moore, because she loves Yorgos Lanthimos films.
Let's go for a streak. How many more have we got? We want to roll here.
Well, I have 3 more.
Let's go until I get one wrong.
I have a really interesting one, because I know that one of these films I don't think you like.
Oh,
and I think
is it Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
I think I want to bring it up because I was shocked that this was on someone's list. So, The Place Beyond the Pines.
Great film.
Wait, you liked it? Oh, I thought you didn't like it.
No, I love that film.
Well, The Place Beyond the Pines and In Bruges. Who was this?
Great film.
In Bruges is great. Was it A, Edgar Wright, B, Shea Wiggum, or C, Samara Weaving?
Give me Samara Weaving.
No, you're wrong. It was B, Shea Wiggum.
Shea Wiggum's got taste. Right, let's go 2 more. Let's speed around. I'm locked in now.
Right. Okay. Next one is a very recent film. It's Queer by Luca Guadagnino, which had a few FCA nominations because we do love that
Fucking
film. Well, I do anyway.
overrated. Yeah.
I absolutely love that film. I gave it 5 stars.
Daniel
Someone
Craig's
said
good,
it in
man.
the top
Yeah.
10. Who was it? Was it A, Benny Safdie, B, Edgar Wright, or C, Celine Song?
Was it just Queer, did you say?
Just Queer.
Give me Celine Song again. Back in my girl.
I was gonna make a joke about Primark being over, but I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, you're correct. Celine Song.
Let's get
You have
let's end on a
2
high.
points.
Final streak.
All right,
Let's end on a high.
last one. It's
Yeah,
last one.
let's go. I'm locked into the fifth heaven.
This one, if you get wrong, I'm gonna be really upset because 2 out of
What, do you want to do
3
this game?
are correct.
It's really hard. It's really difficult. What do you mean?
I've made this one easy. 2 out of the 3 are correct. I need to tell me which 2 out of the 3 are correct. All right? I need 2
Oh,
answers here
God.
out of 3.
Or I could tell you what one's wrong.
Both these people picked La Chimera, which is the Josh O'Connor film
Really
from
good
last
film.
year.
Really
It's
good
a
film.
really good film. Was it A, Eben Moss? How do you say
Backrack.
his last name? What?
Backrack. Eben Moss
Backrack.
Backrack.
Eben Moss Backrack. Was
Eben.
it him?
Just Eben.
Was it Kaylee Spaney or was it Vicky Creeps?
So I'm
2 of them
saying.
picked it.
So one of them didn't pick it.
Yeah.
Vicky Creeps would have, because she's European. Eben Moss Backrack. Feels like he wouldn't pick it, so he did. Eben Moss Backrack and Vicky Creeps.
You're wrong.
Is it
You're wrong.
Vicky Creeps and Kelly's family?
Eben chose it and Kaylee chose
Whoa.
it. Vicky did not choose it.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
it's
rewatch
a
Phantom
shocker.
Thread soon, and I'm going to just shake my head at Vicky Creeps the entire time.
Yeah, well that's it. That's
Veronica,
the game.
Can I just say that was a really good game. Really good game. Well done.
Thanks. It took me maybe 2 minutes to think of it the other day because I was thinking, this
took me-
article's being like relevant right now in the film space. Maybe we should talk about it because we never talk about anything that's relevant at the time.
And it took me 10 minutes of
very good idea.
embarrassment. So it's a pretty good trade, if anything.
Yeah, it was
And
great seeing
that-
you not know any of the answers because that's usually me.
It's
so.
really difficult. If you got to this part of the episode, email us, not text us actually. Not
Text
the right number.
us.
Tweet us how
Text
many
us
got
and we'll
right.
put your message at the top of the screen, like how they used to do on MTV
yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, we're at the end of another episode. All links will be in the description because I'm not reading them out. Veronica, thank you as always. What is the email?
floodlightpod@gmail.com. And go follow
Perfect.
Amy Forsyth
Yes. Go
because she was on this episode if you've
seek out
forgotten
her
about
Instagram
that.
page. Yeah, well, you wouldn't have forgot Amy. Yeah, go follow Amy. Go follow Amy. Keep an eye out for Inedia when it releases near you. Until then, keep watching and keep consuming.